And that is why the president said he will overly rely on these two houses in matters of legislation. The other issue that came is facilitation of cabinet secretaries to appear on the floor of the House, the Haggard's House, to answer the questions members have been facing. The last parliament, 12th parliament, we had a lot of challenges. Cabinet secretaries failing to attend committee meetings after some consult. I think this will be, it will be appreciated if we can have them on the floor of the House to articulate their issues on the floor of the House, Madam Speaker. The other issue President promised the country was scaling up productivity in agriculture. But, Madam Speaker, let me be frank, we have started on the wrong foot. We cannot allow GMOs to take place in our country. We know the impact. We know how GMOs can be detrimental to our nutrition, Madam Speaker. That is why we need to address the issues of scaling up agriculture in terms of constructing dams, adding more earthy dams, water ponds, and we need to emphasize the issue of clean agriculture instead of reintroducing GMO. Europe have not seen GMOs actually operating, and even developing countries are emphasizing on clean agriculture more than GMOs. So I'm calling upon the president to focus on irrigable lands, issues of earthy dams, water ponds, and dams to ensure there is plenty of food production in our country. Madam Speaker, I cannot emphasize on the issue of affordable credit facility. Many of the Kenyans have got great ideas, great business ideas, and they only lack capital to implement what they have in their minds. And the president is committed on ensuring there is free and affordable credit facility in our country through the creation of the SME, which we just saw that ministry. Then the CRB has really been punishing Kenyans. The approach on credit scoring has been very punitive, and we would check the president I hope the president will commit what he promised Kenyans in terms of changing the formulation of CRB, the way they have been doing things to credit scoring system, Madam Speaker. The issue that we need also to address, and which really addressed, was the issue of capital projects. Madam Speaker, we have got so many stored projects in our country, not even in our constituency. I am just reminding President one project, Kabati Mingwani Bondoni Road, which has stalled from Kitui Kibwezi Road. We would like to see, I would have actually wished President that day to commit that he is going to complete all the projects initiated by the previous regime. And I'm actually urging him to do so that we can have completion of all the projects which stalled. Issues of water, issues of roads, issues of electricity, and we will be very happy as Kenyans to see that happening. Electricity. Jesus Christ, this is a department that needs serious attention, and I'm happy President acknowledged it. We have got so many fake transformers which were installed 10 years ago in our country, not even constituency alone. There is also inequality in terms of distribution of power projects, electrification. There's also issues of metering. You find that most of the time, Kenya Power or REREC actually installs electricity, but they end up delaying in installing meters, and we have been facing this issue. We need adequate and timely distribution of electricity and metering, Madam Speaker, as the way the president put it. There was issue of management of public debt, and I'm happy this House has created a committee on public debt management, and we will look at that. When I don't have an issue of borrowing money in this country, the issue is, are we borrowing money to do projects at the right price and implement the right project that will spur the economic growth. That is the issue I am having. Madam Speaker, we can speak so much, but allow me to comment on the issue of CDF. So many students, so many parents are eagerly anticipating President to issue an executive order ordering CDF to be distributed immediately to our constituencies, Madam Speaker. With those few remarks, I support. Thank you.
Thank you, member for Mwingi West. Now we'll go to member for Kilifi North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's Kilifi South and not Kilifi North.
Apologies.
Thank you. First of all, Madam Speaker, let me take this opportunity to congratulate you for the position you hold. Indeed, for people like us who are following what you are doing, you really earned it, and your past experience actually is in tandem with the position you are holding. Congratulations, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to say thanks to my people from Kilifi South. It's one constituency which normally does not elect an MP twice since time in history. But they found value in electing me for the second time. I really appreciate them so much. Straight to the presidential speech, Madam Speaker. The speech was in all ways very exciting. The presidential speech was very good. It really touched most of the areas that we were interested in, more especially when he talked about the CDF. As we speak right now, Madam Speaker, all these calls which are coming, students are out of school because they have no money. For the president to see that, to have recognized that it plays a vital role in the community, we really appreciate that, and I hope this parliament will move very fast to align it so that in the future, those who are supposed to benefit from it can benefit. The issue of managing the GDP is another thing that also was well received by people. Madam Speaker, all said and done, in my opinion, the only observation that to me, I think need go down well was the time that the president took to present his speech. The speech was so short. We were expecting so much from the president. Members of parliament actually were ready to wait until 7 to hear all the basket that the president was carrying. But I was surprised why the president made it so short. And I know him very well. He's my friend. Yeah, he's not the person who maybe in the evening would like to have something somewhere. And also Mama Rachel was seated there. I don't know why he was so much in a hurry. We wanted to have time with him. In fact, at some point, I was going to tell him, don't run away like Muria, the way he was not being told. Muria, don't run. But I could see the president just walking out in a time when we seriously needed him. Why am I saying this, Madam Speaker? There are quite a number of serious issues that we expected to hear from him. One, the issue of land acquisition and squatterism in Kenya. The place where I come from, more especially look at around cost. 80% of the land is cost is actually a reserve of government properties. And yet, there are so many people who do not have a place to stay. There is serious problem of cost that are undergoing. This is one thing that needs to be addressed. And it's not only at the cost, it's actually nationwide in Kenya. And we wanted to know if there are any structures that are being put in place. There are so many commissions, the Ndungu report, so many reports regarding land. Nothing has come to this floor to know what is contained in those reports. Yet, people are looking forward for the government to address this. This is one thing that I wanted to hear from the president. The other thing also I wanted to hear from the president, in the year 2020, we had a global forum here at KICC. on matters regarding the blue economy, kwa Waswahili uchumi samawati. In that conference, we were told the biggest resource that Kenya is sitting on, I mean, the biggest wealth that actually Kenya can benefit from is from the blue economy. If you look at the ocean, you look at the waters, the lakes, Lake Victoria, the Baringo, we are being told there is immense resources down there. And we know there are some organizations that have been established to make sure that we are able to access this, the potentiality of these resources. But now, nobody knows what is going on. We were told thousands, millions of jobs are lying there for the youth. But up to now, we have not seen anything. We wanted to hear something from the president regarding that. The other thing that also I wanted to hear from the president, the issue of corruption. Corruption has eaten our country. To be honest, the poverty level that is being realized in each homestead is as a result of corruption. Last year, we had the president, the just retired president, President Uhuru Kenyatta, complaining that Kenya is losing close to 1 billion every day, 2 billion every day as a result of corruption. 2 billion, that translates to 60 billion in a year, in a month. In a year, it translates to 720 billion. This is not pocket change. This is money that can change the lives of our people, women, children, to a better level. But this issue was not discussed, it was not actually came into the fore, Madam Speaker. This is one thing that I equally wanted to hear. The other thing that I also wanted to hear, we have so many government parastatals which actually are non-performing. They eat on the economy of the country. We are spending so much resources on these parastatals. What is in stock so that whatever is being spent on these parastatals can translate into the value of the people of Kenya? These are other things that I also wanted to hear. Unfortunately, it never came out. Madam Speaker, this Kenya, Madam Speaker, this Kenya has come a long way to see all these challenges. Indeed, what Honorable Elisha was saying here, there are some innovatives that need to be empowered. He talked about the issue of the nuclear energy and the nuclear board and the empowerment of the nuclear board. As we all know, everybody who contracts cancer today, Madam Speaker, has to rush to either India or some of the Arab world because they have perfected in the manufacturing of nuclear isotopes which treat cancer. Many of our folks in the villages are actually dying out of this problem or out of this disease. We have the nuclear energy board with us here, but for over 10 years, it has not made any stride. Right now, they are putting up a plant somewhere in Kilifi North. Is there any measures that are being put in place to ensure that this organization makes a leap so that our people can actually be able to access this medicine for the sake of having hope of life? Madam Speaker, with those few remarks that are made, I really appreciate for you giving this opportunity. And I know as much you were on the other side as Neo and you people in Kenya Kwanza, the promise the president had made in this house when he was giving a speech that he is going to ensure that Kenya remains and works as one, we are yearning to see that. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, member for Kilifi North, you said. Now we shall have a member for Sigawit Soin constituency.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity so that I could also register my thanks to the President for the speech which he gave in this August House. First and foremost, Madam Speaker, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the President and his deputy for being elected to lead this country, and also to congratulate you and the Speaker for being elected to preside over the affairs of this august house. Madam Speaker, may I also take this opportunity to thank the great people of Sigawet's own constituency for seeing it fit that I come back to Parliament. I represented them in the 11th Parliament. I got to stay out of Parliament for 5 years, and I think the thought that comes into my mind is that to consider is a good thing, and to reconsider is even a better thing. I want to thank them most sincerely from the 4 wards of Sigawet's own constituency, that is Kaplela Artet, Soliat, Sigawet, and Soin. I promise, Madam Speaker, that I'll serve them diligently as per the oath of office which I took. Madam Speaker, coming to the subject matter of our debate this today, I want to thank the President for his exposition of the process of transforming this country as per his agenda. My colleagues have alluded to the fact that the speech is short. To me, Madam Speaker, the 52 paragraphs were fittingly short. We will be able to get more details, of course, in the legislative proposals, in the policy interventions, in the regulations, so that we can be able to give the President the support he needs to be able to transform this country. Madam Speaker, my colleagues have spoken on quite a number of issues, and I would not like to go into them. But in brief, I want to thank the President for the decision that he has taken to reduce the debt in this country. The fact that the President says within 3 years we should be having surplus in this country is quite good, and I want to commend him for that. It is, of course, dangerous for a country to have the kind of spiraling debt which we've been witnessing in this country in the last few years. Madam Speaker, on the issue of savings, the many tourists that come into this country, they are ordinary people. They are not necessarily the rich people from the countries they come from. But the culture of savings in those countries has been improved to the extent that even the lower income people would be able to go for tourism in other parts of the world. We want to impress upon our people to make sure that for whatever they earn, there's a bit of which they will put aside for savings. Madam Speaker, there is the reform on the education sector in this country. CBC had very, very good strategic intent, but the burden that it has given to our pupils